So I posted my favorite moment of at Valve yesterday. Here's the second favorite one, and this is probably more people would expect. So you have to remember. So Eric Wolpa and I joined Valve together. Eric's the lead on the Portal series, and we had known each other since we were like 18 years old, and we moved in together when we didn't really understand how paying rent was a monthly thing. And back then we had idea for a game where one person drove the car and the other person shot guns out the top. That seemed revolutionary back then. But whatever. We always had ideas for games that we were going to do and thought about it. And like, we would come and go together through life, where we owned a company together, and then he left for a while and then came back. I moved to New Orleans. But we always, kind of gravitated around each other. And we did Old Man Murray together. And so while we were doing Old Man Murray, we had a lot of interaction with Valve. At one point, they made a special version of TFC Classic to play against us, which used like characters from our world and stuff. Like, it was that much of interaction. And we had an email that we could email them that we just talk smack back and forth. And they could just email us, like anybody in the company could just email us and talk shit to us. Like, it was weird times, right? Very, very early gaming, kind of 1990s kind of thing. But so in 2004 then, as they're finishing up Half-Life 2, Gabe emails me and Eric together and just said, hey, you guys want to come out to Valve? Now, I didn't even get the email. Eric called me one night, and he's just like, back when you used to answer your phone, he called me and he's just like, hey, check your email. Because we didn't even check our emails, the Old Man Murray email, because it was just all spam. We really weren't updating the site anymore. And I checked my email, and it's like, oh, wow. And we're like, hey, yeah, can you tell us anything more? And he's like, no, just come on out. So we come out. And I've talked about this before of like our interview process there was just hanging out with Gabe and a couple other people for 3 days. We play acted like writing a narrative thing and some other stuff, and just kind of saw how he went around. We ate dinner together. Like, we spent a lot of time. Gabe's very gracious with his time, and we ate dinner with him like every night then. And then Eric had to leave early, and he's just like, hey, you can negotiate our contract. He's like, whatever you say, I'll agree with. But go for the most money you can. And so I'm like, hey, yeah, Eric's gone. I remember having lunch. And it was me and like Gabe and two other people. And Gabe just threw out a number. And it was more money than me and Eric had ever been paid in our lives. And I was like, well, and then he explained like why they came to that number. I'm like, yes. So we started that December. So like, I didn't work on Half-Life 2. If Half-Life 2 came out like November 17th and I started December 1st. Most people would wait to January to start. I don't know why we decided like we had to start this December. So like, I flew out ahead of my family and stuff, and so did Eric. And we were in this really horrible temporary housing. And my room flooded. And I called up the front desk, and I'm like, hey, like, there's an inch of water in my room. And they're like, well, what did you do? The guy above me left his bathtub on, and they knew that, but they somehow were still going to blame me. And then their solution for it was they opened the window and put a fan in the window. So I found another place like 2 blocks over. Partially, I was also because it was over the hill. We had this hill we had to start every morning when you have to climb up a steep hill. It's not for me. And Eric's an early riser. So like, when we're first there, we're early rising. We are getting into the office like at 6 a.m. or something, because Eric's super early riser and I'm flexible. But so we're working while this is happening, and we just think we're going to get fired because we don't know what we're doing. Now, most people, like a bunch of people had taken time off because they had just shipped Half-Life 2 and they just wanted time off. So it's very small, very like 30 people, maybe 40 people in the offices. And it's the holidays. And it was very small. And we were like, just sure we were going to be fired because we weren't doing anything productive. And then I went home for Christmas, and Eric called me on New Year's Eve because I was with my parents' house. And he's like, I'm dying. And he's told this story before, so I'm comfortable telling it, he was really sick. And he went to the hospital. He was okay. But by the time I got back to Seattle, he's like, hey, I got to go tell Gabe I got to quit. Like, I need to go take this medicine. I'm going to be out of pocket for a while. I'm just going to have to quit. And is just like, will you come in with me to the office? Because I'm nervous to go talk with Gabe because we're already feeling like we're not being productive. And so he goes in and tells Gabe that, and Gabe's like, yeah, your job is to get better. And Eric's like, yeah, thinking like, yeah, go leave because that's what you're doing. And Gabe was saying, no. Your job, Val's going to pay you to go get better. You're not going to work here, but you'll get paid. And we walked out of that finally, like, we're so stupid. Like, we did not think somebody was being this nice to us. Now, remember, again, this is a person I've known for a really long time. And so we walked out of that. We're like, oh, we're going to have to work here for life now after that. So, okay. So we have that. Eric comes back, right? You heard the games we worked on and stuff. So he does Portal on the Orange Box. I'm doing Left 4 Dead at the same time, and we do TF2 together. And, like, it's fun working together, right? Like, we've known each other forever, right? But it always feels like something else. And then I wasn't going to do work on Portal 2, really. And then they were having a problem with the co-op side and asked if I would come work on that and kind of handle that side of, like, the story and everything. And so we did that. And then at one point, Lombardi's like, hey, you two should do press together. And if you notice, like, they did the book, the Keeley book about Portal 2, and it ended up being like about me and Eric, which was weird because that became the narrative, like the thing to sell it and make this story about, which felt weird, okay? Like, self-conscious about that, except we're doing this press thing, and we're in Amsterdam, and it's cold and it's snowy, and we just had the weird set of interviews. So we're doing both interviews, and I'm always faster than Eric because I'm like, say as few words as you can because you're gonna. But Eric's also funnier than I am, so he's making them laugh. Like, it's a good combination, right? We're going, and we get done with this interview, and it's kind of like the Yay guys are off wandering somewhere. We're gonna go to dinner later, and we're sitting on this bridge over the canal, and it's freezing cold, and we just look at each other and start laughing. And we just can't stop laughing because somehow we're in Amsterdam promoting a game we both worked on together. And that just felt so strange. Like, somehow that was the moment that we could remember what it was like back in the apartment in 1985. And here it is, 20 some years later. And it worked out. Again, I don't know how to get a job in the game industry because look at the path to get there. But yeah, that moment of just being with a friend and doing something and knowing that it was going well was a really good moment. Now we went back in and started picking on each other and doing the normal stuff that you do with somebody that you know that long. But we had a good moment there.